Hi, everyone. This is just a supplemental video to talk and make sure that we're clear on the changes in the assignments and in the due dates for your two classes that are happening during coronavirus. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll talk through it. Okay, so first off, here are your assignments. On the right is the pilot study assignment, and on the left is Qual 2. Now, note that they are exactly the same, right? So at least before coronavirus, each one had an introductory paragraph, problem of practice statement. This is in the introduction. This thing that says section 1, issue definition, et cetera, that's basically your introduction. It's the same thing. Where it's slightly different, just giving you a little bit of breathing room, is I've taken the background of the problem of practice out of the introduction. You also are welcome to not write the introductory paragraph if you don't want to. So it could just be your problem of practice statement, your research purpose and significance, and your research questions. However, so when you turn your pilot study in, which I'll go over the due dates in a moment, in your Qual 2, which is now due later, it's now due June 1st, you will need that background of the problem of practice. So if you want to get feedback on it from me, you'll need to turn it in by May 7th. All right, and again, we'll go over that later. So if we scroll down, the empirical and conceptual literature review, both documents need this. Now, most of you have already written these things. Many of you have already received feedback from me. Some of you are writing them right now, but essentially they need to be in your pilot study and they need to be in your Qual 2. And of course, if you can get them to me in time for feedback, that would be a good idea. Now, section 3, research design, is also the same, except you're going to be taking, and there's a video on this, you're going to be taking your pilot study proposed research design, the one that's as close as possible to what you're thinking of your dissertation. You're going to save it elsewhere for your Qual 2, right? Because your Qual 2 is a proposal. So you're going to be proposing what you want to do in your research. And for this, your graphic organizer, where I had you map out your participants and so forth for your dissertation versus your participants for your pilot study, is going to be very useful because you're going to need to change the participants section and a couple of other sections to make sure that they are for your dissertation. Now, in your pilot study, you are going to be revising your methods. So we're going to separate them out, revise for the Qual 2 and revise for the pilot study. In the pilot study, you need to revise your methods to be in past tense and describe exactly what you did. And during our face-to-face, we talked about how you would maybe say, well, I was going to do this, but because of coronavirus, this is what I ended up doing. And you're going to, of course, write up your paragraph on how you analyze the data. And this is also described in one of the videos, as is putting your methods in past tense. So in your analysis paragraph, just to make sure we're absolutely clear, your analysis paragraph is different than your findings. Your analysis paragraph is like the roadmap, telling folks what you actually did to get to your findings. So it's just a paragraph and it's saying, I coded this way, I coded that way, here were some of the emergent codes, etc. And then when you get to your findings, you are going to actually tell them what you found. So if that's the difference there. And you can look at, of course, published papers or the examples to see the difference. The examples that are in Blackboard and in Google, our Google folder, have a paragraph that is labeled analysis paragraph. And then they have a section that's labeled findings or results. All right. Now, here is where things split. Your Qual 2, that's it. You're going to have a proposal of what you want to do in your research. Your pilot study is going to go on and have a findings section and a discussion section. The findings is only one theme because we want to make sure, just make it easy on you. And I feel like you don't need to write up more than one theme, which is maybe 2 or 3 codes. You don't need to write up more than one theme in order to get that practice. You're also going to be writing up some stuff about the connections, and I'll talk about that in another video. And finally, you'll have your discussion, which also will be unpacked in another video. All right. So everything up until here, you're going to be using my feedback to revise it and have it into the qual too. So the big thing is just getting me a draft for feedback. And then after this is the stuff you'll focus on to turn in on the 13th of May. So let's move to the due dates. So here are the changes in the due dates. This is in your shared schedule that you have available to you. This week, well, sorry, last week on Sunday, what was due was the descriptive analysis chart. There's a quantitative version and a qualitative version. Many of you have begun on this. I know a lot of you are late, and that's okay. Keep working on it and turn it in as soon as possible by uploading it to the Google folder. You don't need to add it to your document, but you can upload it. And then the analysis paragraph of your pilot study report, which basically I just want you to be writing as you do the analysis. And of course, the video for week 11, watch it when you are ready for it. It's kind of the third coding video. It's like really how to write up, or how to write the analysis paragraph and how to deal with themes. But the full introduction is no longer due. You may turn that in you may, if you would like, turn that in by May 7th for feedback. Moving along, I'd like for you to try to finish up your findings by April 19th. Again, I know many of you are going to be late. I'll hopefully be seeing that by the 26th of April. And then May 7th, this is that big day where I just need anything you want feedback on by May 7th. And of course, if you can get it to me any earlier, then I can have a little bit more time to spend on it. And the final pilot study is due the 13th. I can't move that deadline back because grades are due the 19th. And of course, Qual 2 is now due June 1st. So I know that not a lot has changed here. We're trying to move things back a little bit, move things back a week here, a couple weeks there, 3 weeks in some cases, and then of course a whole month in terms of your Qual 2. So you'll have a lot of time to revise and think about your Qual 2. The reason why it's hard to reduce this assignment is that every piece of doing the pilot study is essential for your learning around the dissertation. We hear over and over from students that the pilot study course was the most important course leading into the dissertation, that they got to try everything out. And so it gives them confidence that they can do it, that they are researchers. So this is what we hear from past students, and each piece is, we try to make each piece as small as possible, one piece of data, one theme, writing up one theme, that kind of thing, so that it's not busy work, but essentially trying out each piece, including the discussion is so essential for going into your dissertation year with that kind of experience. So my hope is that you're able to do that. Of course, if you are spending your time working with your students, or you're in a situation where this isn't possible, we will work with you. So like I said in the slide, we have your back. Make an appointment with me. We'll talk through how to do it, how to do an incomplete, or how to extend the work, right? So we will figure something out. For those of you who can eke a little bit of time out of your crazy day taking care of everyone, it would be great if you could get me pieces as soon as you can. So again, I'm here for you. Please, if you're feeling panicked, just make an appointment with me. We will figure out what to do. All right. Okay, I'm signing off on this video. Please feel free to post questions or write questions as needed.